Archangel Zadkiel is the healer of the mind, and we are about to teach you how you can work with his amazing energy to bring about more peace and healing into your daily life.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we inspire you to remember your magnificence. Join the conversation on our live streams. Head on over to Angel Heart Radio on Facebook. And there's even more for you on angellight777.com.
Hello and welcome everyone to Angel Heart Radio for the Archangel Series. This week we are featuring Archangel Zadkiel, and you are going to love connecting deeply with Archangel Zadkiel. I'm Anayah Joi Holilly from Brisbane, Australia.
Good morning. Namaste. I'm Leesa Ellis.
Hi, I'm Ros Place.
This is just going to be such a great show, girls, isn't it? We've been really looking forward to this and presenting Archangel Zadkiel. I'm going to go straight to you, Ros, and ask you to share with us a little bit about how you personally connect with Archangel Zadkiel.
Okay, well, Archangel Zadkiel to me is the angel that has probably the most names. Some people know him as the angel of the violet flame, the angel of transformation, the angel who can help you to attract more abundance into your life. And people can work with Zadkiel in ways which, in my experience, help them to clear negativity in all its forms. And something that he's helped me to become aware of is just how constructive negativity can be in your life. So Zadkiel's helped me to understand how you can actually identify what negativity is, and how once you've identified it, you can release it in order to allow the universe and the angels to bring you all of the wonderful things that you really want in your life. So he's an angel that I love working with, I enjoy working with. I think we've all got a connection with Zadkiel, haven't we?
Yeah, I really feel we have. Lisa's actually dropped off the switchboard. She'll call back in a moment. So until then, we'll just continue on. Lisa's going to do a very short process with us, everyone, to help us. Here she is. I can see her there. Here we go. G'day, Lisa. We got you?
Hi there. Sorry, I just cut right out.
Okay.
I don't quite know what happened.
That's all right. No wonder I decided I had that nudge to go straight to Ros and not to you.
Right.
Okay, so a few bits and pieces about Archangel Zadkiel from my perspective, and then we're going to go to Lisa, and she's got something to share with us, not only about Zadkiel, but a Diana Cooper process that you can do after the show. For me, look, I've had this beautiful connection, particularly over the last 48 hours with Archangel Zadkiel. I work with him a lot, but he's come through very, very clearly, and he's shown me the magnificence of his tenderness, the depth of his tenderness, and how much he wants us all to know how he just adores us and holds us almost like a newborn. Holds our energy just almost like a newborn and rocks us and cradles us, particularly when we're going through struggles. And one of the things that we're really excited to be teaching you tonight is how to move through that and connect with him, because this kind of struggle is very, prevalent and common for us all as, human beings on the planet. And isn't it great to be able to have an amazing, magnificent archangel like Zadkiel to help us move through that and beyond it into a deeper sense of peace. Lisa?
Thank you. Yes, well, Archangel Zadkiel, in my understanding, he works with the violet ray of transmutation and ceremonial magic. So he directs the angels of joy and mercy to transmute or transform lower energies, the negative stuff, and help people to find forgiveness, diplomacy, and tolerance. Now, if you've ever heard of the violet flame of Saint Germain, Archangel Zadkiel is the angel who is associated with that healing energy. So the process I'm going to share is a tool that you can use at any time in the future. Anytime you have some negativity going on in your life and you want to release it and transmute it or transform it back to positivity. So we'll just take a moment And if you'd just like to get comfortable and settled and take a deep breath and ground, feel yourself within your body, grounded deep into Mother Earth and connected to the heavens above. And another deep breath and another. And we'll begin. To do this process, all you need is a sheet of paper and a pen. It's nice if you can use a violet pen or a purple pen, because that's the colour associated with Zadkiel, but that's not essential. Any colour pen will do. And you just write a prayer. You write a letter to Zadkiel, you address it to him, and then you just let it all go, let it all out on the paper. What's going on in your life, what you want to release, what you want to change, the negativity you'd like transformed to positivity. You don't have to come up with a solution about how you want it fixed. Leave that to Zadkiel. He is a mighty and wise angel. He will come up with the perfect solution for you if you just get it all down and state what's going on that you want changed. Then you sign the letter, and then using an old saucepan or a wok, or I use a stock pot that I purchased specifically for this type of thing, you then burn the paper. Have some water handy just in case the flames get out of hand. And you can even say a little prayer, whisper a little prayer as it burns, releasing it all that negativity and transforming it to positivity. Then when it's fully burned, you let the ashes cool for at least 24 hours, and you sprinkle them on your garden, or you can bury them in Mother Earth, and that will aid the transformation process. This technique is very simple, but it's very powerful, and you can use it at any time in the future and the present that you want to change negativity to positivity.
Thank you, Leesa. It really is a powerful process, isn't it? I don't know whether you've used this process yourself, Ros. I certainly have, and I have found it's the ceremony that I love as well. It's taking that little bit of time to have a ceremony with, whether it's the sprites, in the water, or whether it's the fairies in the back garden, or whether it's the angels, having this ceremony and inviting their energy in to assist me to move forward in my life to a ladder, so that my own vibration gets higher and higher, and of course that radiates out and affects others. Ros?
Yeah, definitely. And I think ceremony, and I remember listening to one of your recordings about ceremony actually a long time ago, and how important it is in terms of intention and commitment and pleasure and enjoyment when you do create a ceremony, when you show to yourself and the universe that you're committed to this, you're committed to releasing negativity. I think for me, with Zadkiel, the issue has been, what is negativity? It's one of those words that people think they understand and that they can actually identify within themselves. So it's understanding that negativity is something which comes in lots of different forms, and actually establishing what it is that you feel, and how negativity, when you're in a state where you feel maybe pessimistic, where you feel angry, where you feel resentful, where you feel like you want to be right and you want to prove that another person's wrong. Negativity where it might be shame, or you might be judging yourself or judging other people. Negativity when you're feeling sorry for yourself. I've got a lovely friend in Canada who talks about having a pity party, when we all get kind of dragged into that, everything's against me, and, everything's going wrong, and blaming other people for things, or blaming yourself for things, self-sabotaging. The complexity and the very personal relationship that we all have with negativity, and also the fact that when we're in that state, it's incredibly challenging to come out of it, because negativity pretends to be our friend. Negativity says, "Oh, you're right to think like that." It tells you that feeling unhelpful emotions is somewhere for you to stay and be. So, as Leesa says, to become clear, or to acknowledge the areas where you feel uncomfortable or you feel negativity and release it, and to ask Archangel Zadkiel to really amplify that experience, and just letting go, letting go, having the intention to let go, will really let Zadkiel in there and create space of positivity. Like Leesa says, it's letting go of negativity. And Zadkiel's a straight swap. He's like, if you let go of all this stuff that's preventing you from having what you want, then I will swap it for good stuff. It is a straight swap, but it's a swap that we can't understand because it doesn't feel like something we can relate to on Earth. It's like, okay, you'll take all my junk and give me things that I really want. That is really what it is like with Zadkiel.
And it truly is, isn't it, with all the angels? It's having that and look, it can be a fleeting understanding. I like what you said about the different types of negative energy and how we can start to think about identifying that in our life. That's a really good and very powerful point. And, you know, it's having that understanding also, I feel, just from my personal experience, that some days I feel like I'm as high as a kite. You know, like I'm just on. I just feel like I'm in the flow, like I'm connected, like I just know exactly when to turn left. I know exactly when to indicate to get into the next lane. And then other days I feel like I'm dragging myself around the house so dang tired because of various things. And I think it's a great thing to remember that, and in between all of that, there's a lot of other energy levels as well. So even when we're extremely tired, even when we've had an argument with our child or our spouse, even when we're, you know, cranky because something's happened at work, they're the times that it's very important to remember that we're not alone. We've got angels like Zadkiel, who is the patron saint of all who forgive. How amazing is that? So if we're willing to forgive, Archangel Zadkiel will step right in if we call him to and help us. He will help you to really go through the nuts and bolts of forgiveness. Because forgiveness is easy when we think, I'm going to forgive that person. But then when we get triggered, that's when it's difficult. And to have that opportunity to work with a master of forgiveness like Zadkiel, it can take our lives and ourselves into an entirely new atmosphere. What do you think, Leesa?
Yes, I mean, forgiveness. I mean, like, I'm just making that choice, that decision, taking that step. That's the first step towards healing. Is if you decide, I want to forgive, I'm going to forgive, and I'm going to ask Archangel Zadkiel to help me. That's more than half the battle, if you want to call it a battle. It's sort of like taking that step towards forgiveness is a huge release in itself.
Yes, it truly is. And there are many ways that we can do this. I mean, let's look at some of the ways that Zadkiel can help us. For example, I've got a friend who's going to mediation with regards to a matter about a will. And it was wonderful to be able to say to her, Archangel Zadkiel, his stone is lapis. And what an amazing stone that is, what an amazing crystal that is. So start breathing that lapis energy. Start working with that beautiful deep indigo blue, which is associated with Archangel Zadkiel. And even to the point where she wore, or she will wear, she's not there yet, but she will wear this amazing lapis pendant so that as she's speaking, it's right there on her throat chakra, but it's also going to be influencing people toward peace, because this is what the stone wants to help us do, is have that peace. So it's about memory as well, isn't it? Healing our memories. And sometimes it's difficult to let go of memories, especially if we think we're in the right. But that's one of the most important times of all, I think. Ros?
Yes, about... No, you go, Ros.
I agree. It is, I think forgiveness. The angels have given me a number of tools in my life, and one of them has been to rewrite my past, and one of them has been self-forgiveness. And self-forgiveness and understanding that it is, for me, it's a constant process of forgiving myself for big things and small things. has helped me, like you say, you talked about creating a whole new atmosphere, Anayah, and creates a whole new atmosphere inside of yourself. I think once you enter into forgiveness and you begin to trust that, forgiving yourself doesn't give you the green light to continue with negative behavior or to continue to do things which you don't feel are positive. In actual fact, what it does is it very quickly resets your energy out of blame and self-criticism and anger and shame and negativity in all its personal forms, and into an energy of compassion and love. And that's when your abundance channels open up. That's when my abundance channels open up. So Zadkiel would help me with regards to forgiveness. I mean, it is about forgiving other people, but for me, it's all about forgiving myself. I'm the hardest on myself, more hard on myself, and I think that a lot of people are, in my experience, than they are on anybody else. And that trust that I've developed to forgive myself for, like you mentioned, shouting at the children, being cross and frustrated with the children, or, behaving, or doing something which wasn't my best, or we all have our little things that we do that we wish we hadn't have done, that we regret, and that makes us human. That makes us wanting to improve our lives. Forgiveness, self-forgiveness is just, for me, the first step was understanding that when you forgive yourself, any amount of forgiveness that you can offer to yourself in that moment is enough. And to be committed to forgiving myself has helped me to be much more compassionate towards myself, much less judgmental of others, much just softer, like you talk about that atmosphere. So you're not forcing yourself to be a certain way. You're allowing yourself to develop into being a certain kind of person. But we're taught through harsh lessons, I think, on earth. But the way the angels want to teach you is through good feelings, through forgiving yourself, loving yourself. I completely agree with everything that you say. Yeah, he is loving. He helps you to experience things which we find very difficult to believe are true on earth, like unconditional love. I agree.
And it's just one of the other things too for me that's really powerful, and what you just said really speaks to that. Any amount of forgiveness that you have for yourself, any amount is enough.
Oh, it is.
A little bit goes a long, long way with the angels. A little bit of, of an invitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
even
like
that little bit
talking about. Yeah, sorry, I was just saying, Leesa, it's like you were saying with the the ceremony and the commitment. It's taking a step. It's showing the universe that you're committed to this course of action, and that intention is so powerful.
Leesa?
Yes, well, even that, giving yourself that little bit of forgiveness, the first step, having the ceremony, showing your commitment, it's like the first steps on the pathway to, as Ros said, self-love. And for me, self-love is the key to everything. And the angels will guide you on that process. Zadkiel has been enormously helpful to me with releasing all that negative stuff that I, quite frankly, used to beat myself up for and think I'm a bad person, I'm terrible because I shouted at the cat today, that type of thing. And just forgiving yourself a little bit and understanding that the angels see you at your very best. That's how they see you. They see you at your best. And even when you don't see yourself that way, they see the very best in you. And that's what I love them for, because they love us completely as we can be, as we truly are. At our very essence, we are this wonderful, amazing being. And they love and forgive us and help us to find those qualities for ourselves.
Yes, here, absolutely.
And one of the first things the angels said to me when I really started to communicate with them consciously, and it was very difficult for me at the time, I could not relate to it for myself at all. And they said to me, remember your magnificence. And I thought to myself at the time, well, there's nothing about me that's magnificent. And what they've done is they've helped me to begin to see myself in a way which reflects that. I actually am a magnificent being. My brain will tell me something else. And this is where working with Archangel Zadkiel is so relevant and so useful. So let's just say that you're going through something and it's playing over and over in your mind. You know, it can be anything. And it's enough that it just makes you feel heavy. Your energy feels a bit low. And I should have, I could have, if I could go back, you know, all of those things run through our mind. Now, Archangel Zadkiel is the angel of benevolence. He's the angel of mercy. He's the angel that comes to you and says, hush, my darling, it's okay. Nothing you've said, nothing you have done can hold even a flicker to the brightness of your being. Be willing to forgive yourself for this. Just be willing, and he will step in and help you with the rest. Sometimes it's that physicality, it's that human part of us, our brain that keeps jumping in and wanting to berate us and wanting to keep us in that lower energy field of blame and shame. And we can do very simple, positive things to help lift ourselves out of that. For an example, it's going around in your mind, I can't believe I was so stupid. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. Right. When you notice that you're doing that, take a breath. Just take a breath. Archangel Zadkiel, come to me now and help me to remember the good things I've done for the last week or the last day or the last hour. And what he'll do is he will then help your mind by steering it to start to focus on the things that you've done that you're happy with, or the things that you've thought, or the things you've created. And I actually have posted a meme on our Facebook wall, Facebook.com/Angel Heart Radio. Archangel Zadkiel, help me to focus on compassion. He'll help you to focus on the compassion for yourself. Because isn't it true, Leesa and Ros, that the only way the earth, the energy of the earth and the events on earth are ever going to be healed is one person at a time. It's by healing us and loving us. What do you think?
It's like a snowball. It's just like one person makes that decision and then another person does and another person does, and it snowballs and snowballs. And before you know it, you've reached a critical mass or a tipping point where the energy of the whole planet is carried forward because one person made the decision, I'm going to do this. And I do completely agree with that.
Ros?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, it completely links in with what we've been talking about, which is any amount of forgiveness is enough, any amount of personal improvement that you can make, any amount of positivity that you can offer, it's worth it. You know, don't not do it. Sometimes there are, you know, huge situations in our own lives or in the world at large. Anything that we can offer, any positive contribution that we can make, it's enough and it's worthwhile. I think people sometimes feel as though something's too big for them in their own lives, and it contributes to that feeling of powerlessness. You know, I can't do anything, and that takes you straight back into that negativity. And I think something also that's really worth saying here, which links in with negativity and those feelings that we get drawn into, the fear that I had with regards to forgiveness and forgiving myself, what I got to understand was that I didn't want to forgive myself because I thought if I forgave myself for things, I wouldn't improve. I thought that criticism and judgment and being harsh with myself and saying I was stupid or an idiot or thinking about myself in those ways made me feel really uncomfortable, and I thought that was the only way I was going to learn. But what I understand now is that I learned through positive experiences and feelings, and I learned through opening, and I learned trust, and I have discovered that creating an energy in my life of compassion, of self-love, of self-forgiveness, of releasing negativity as quickly as I am aware it has arisen and as I'm able to at that moment, has only brought positive impact. And I feel negativity physically, like you've said, I feel it as something. It could be a tightness in my stomach, or it could be a feeling of constriction in my shoulders, or I notice that my eyes might be more narrowed, or I'll be slouched over. My body won't be upright. My heart center basically will be starting to capitulate and collapse into the underneath part of my shoulders, rather than being pushed out and forwards, and to be the first energy that touches situations in my life. So absolutely, absolutely. We are, as you say, Anayah, Blog Talk is something that you've created, and you teach people that they matter, that we matter, and that's what this is about. Everybody can contribute positively, and it really does start with our own self-improvement, with steps that we can take in our own lives. Not about changing other people's lives. We hold the power to change ourselves, and that's always going to contribute positively in lots of different ways to lots of people's lives.
And I think this segues really nicely into a very important point to bring up as well, is that when we're looking at the collective conscious on the planet, whether it's a negative or a positive or a loving or a critical, whatever it is, sometimes we take on other people's feelings. They're not necessarily ours.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of leads on to something that Zadkiel I've found can really help with. It's about becoming aware of negativity, the different forms that it takes, acknowledging that it exists and it doesn't make you feel good, and changes that you can make, and forgiving yourself for the fact that you did it in the first place, which sounds so daft, but it's true. We all do it. And it's all of this preventing universal abundance. It's all of these things that we do which prevent universal abundance and which feed into that I don't deserve it anyway, it's not going to come anyway, it's not something that I'm entitled to, I've missed the boat, or universal abundance has decided not to come to me. And it's something which Zadkiel has really helped me to. Can I just share a little analogy that Zadkiel gave to me about 5 years ago, which people kind of generally giggle about? Can I just share this with you?
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Okay. So what the analogy is what he showed me was that the universal flow of abundance, okay, the analogy that he gave me was there's a hose pipe. You know the hose pipes that you have in your garden, yeah? You've got them attached to the wall, and you've got the tap that you can turn on, and then the hose pipe is something which you can use to reach longer parts of your garden. Sometimes there are bans for those things nowadays, aren't there? But it's about having that universal flow of abundance, which is illustrated in the hose with the tap on. Now, what we do, when you're gardening and there might be a kink in that hose, or you might actually have your foot over the hose. Now, the tap is on full at the wall, yeah? And the tap is starting to really kind of squirt out because the flow of water from that tap that is on, which is the universal flow of abundance, is on full, but you've got your foot over it, so it can't come out. And the flow of universal abundance is the hose pipe and is the tap. You know the tap is on, but there's no water coming out. So as soon as you remove your foot from that hose pipe that's crushing and constricting that flow by releasing negativity, by becoming really responsible for getting clear about the things in your life which make you feel uncomfortable, which you've slid into and maybe not been conscious of, once you remove your foot from the hose, once you allow yourself to open that channel of universal abundance and allow that flow through by removing the pressure that any form of negativity takes, then you've got a flow of abundance. You've got water coming. And I think it's really something that I worked on and I continue to work on is this idea of deserving. Having to justify your deserving of universal abundance, or feeling that people aren't worthy of it, or they don't deserve it, or they only deserve it to some extent, or in some shape, or in some way or form. But it's understanding that, as challenging as it might be to accept, the power comes from knowing you prevent the universal flow of abundance. You need to take your foot off that hose pipe in as many ways as you can. Through ceremony and burning negativity, through acknowledging that you started to do things like watch certain programs or start eating things which make you feel heavy, or it's being aware and open and seeing is this feeling good? No. Okay, so let's bring more of that good energy in, because that opens that channel of abundance. Forgiving yourself opens the channel of abundance. Loving yourself opens the channel of abundance. So it's not that you don't deserve it. It's not that you haven't been good enough. It's that your foot's over the hose pipe. The tap's on, but you've got to find ways of getting that foot off the hose pipe. Do you understand? Does that make sense? It just made me laugh so much. And every time I talk to people about this, they laugh because they've all done it. We've all had our foot on the hose pipe in the garden, haven't we? Or there's been a kink in it.
Absolutely.
We've been looking down the hose going, where's all the water? Well, there's a kink. Or you've got your foot on it. Deal with that, and then you will get water. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Leesa?
Yes, it's just like the tap is on, the abundance is flowing, and get out of your own way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get your foot off the hose. Yeah, so that helps me a lot.
And I really feel this is a great, this really leads us also into the next point that I'd like to raise about working with not just Archangel Zadkiel. We're talking about all benevolent beings here. We happen to be focusing on the archangels in this series, but please remember that you have a wealth of benevolent beings there for you in greater, more magnificent numbers that you can ever imagine. But when you're working with any kind of beings, make sure you call on benevolent beings or beings from the light, beings from love. So I'd like to bring this up now that we're looking at Archangel Zadkiel being a healer of the mind, which he is absolutely fabulous at helping us with, but he also helps us take that a step further. It's not just healing of the mind, but also leads us into taking responsibility for our own happiness, which is an absolutely must-do place to even think about visiting. If you're not quite there yet and you can't quite feel that, well, you know what, stuff's happened in my life and it wasn't my fault, it was their fault, so therefore I don't have anything to be... If you're still in that place, that's okay. Call on the angels, call on the benevolent beings to help you move out of there. But I can tell you, until you're willing to take responsibility for your own happiness, there's no other way to say it except that you are still in a victim mentality. And we are all there at one time or another, don't you think, Leesa?
I have a very relevant story to share there. It brought it to mind just as soon as you started speaking on that. And it was just a healing session I had just last week, actually. And it was about, changing some things in my life that I wanted to change. And it was like, well, let's have a look at what's preventing me from making the changes I want to make. And what it came down to was back in September 2010, when I was living in Littleton here in New Zealand, which is the port town of Christchurch, which is the major city of the South Island, I lived through a major earthquake. It was a 7.2 magnitude, and it was quite devastating, obviously physically for the buildings and so on, but also emotionally. It was like a traumatic event, basically. And I made the decision that after a while, when the aftershocks were still going and I just wasn't coping, that I was going to move away and start afresh in a town which was closer to where my mother lived. And I thought, well, I could spend more time with my mother and, build life in a new town. And so I did that. I moved away, and then suddenly it felt like, without wanting to be sounding like I'm using the wrong words here, my life went down the plug hole. It just sort of like nothing seemed to go right. I was struggling with abundance. I was struggling emotionally, and it came down to earthquake trauma. And I never did anything about healing it specifically. I was just too affected by it and too close to it. And then just last week it came up that the things that are preventing me from moving forward come back to the earthquake trauma, but it wasn't so much the earthquake. I was blaming the earthquake for everything that was wrong in my life.
Wow.
If the earthquake hadn't happened, I would have been in a much better place financially. That's what I was telling myself. I would be happier. I would be this. I would be that. And it all came back to me blaming the earthquake and not making the changes within myself I needed to make to move forward. I was in the ultimate victim state, really. And so we released that. And it's just and it was just like I hadn't realised how much I'd held on to that until it was explained to me that I was victimizing myself. I was doing it to myself. The earthquake wasn't doing it to me. That was years ago. It was over. But I was still in that place of trauma and victimhood because I chose not to let it go. And when you make the choice to let it go, that's when your life can change.
Wow.
Yeah, and you've gone from being in that victim energy, the other side of that is victorious.
That's
so
a
you've
lovely way of
moved.
putting it.
And Carol, I heard Carolyn Mace say that one day, and it really, really resonated with me. The other side of victim is victorious. So for anyone who may be in that energy, the last thing you need to be doing is giving yourself a hard time, but look for ways to become victorious. And Leesa, that was an excellent story to help us see how something, and it's a pretty traumatic event, but how it was still playing out in your life and you didn't actually know until you got some help with it.
Well, sometimes I think we need to accept that sometimes we need a helping hand. Like I say, I hadn't released that trauma, and it was nearly 5.5 coming up to 6 years because I was too close to it. I couldn't see it. Sometimes we need a guide and a helping hand, and if you can just turn it over to the angels. This is going on in my life, angels. Help me overcome it. Zadkiel, transmute this negativity to positivity.
Yeah. And it's the asking. It always comes back to asking, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Just ask. Give your permission, and the angels can act.
And see, for me, I see the act of asking as a ceremony in itself, because what I'm really doing is I'm getting honest with myself. I'm getting real with myself, and I open my heart enough. It might even be a crack, but I'm opening my heart enough to the angels to say, I welcome you in. I invite you. I invite your solutions. I invite your energy, your help. I invite your love. And because they then shine that more brightly within me, because it's always there for me and for everyone listening, you all have angels. You all have access to the angels, the archangels, your guardian angels. We don't have any more access than you do. The whole idea of working together like this is to teach you that you can do this for yourself. We just want to give you some of the tools that might make it a bit easier for you. So everybody can do this. You don't need, it's not to say you don't want to work with other people, but it is to say that we really want to help you to have a firm, solid connection and to be able to have that one-on-one anytime you want to with the angels. Ros?
Yes, this is something that I feel equally passionate about. I use with people when I do courses and things, I teach people invocations, and I'm sure that a lot of listeners will be familiar with an invocation, which is generally quite a lengthy process of connecting with an angel. And I take great care to be clear to people, an invocation is not necessary for the angels to get closer to you. So you can say, Archangel Zadkiel, be with me now, and he'll come to you just as he'll come to me, just as he'll come to everybody in the same way. There are ways that you can deepen your connection through familiarity and through awareness and through getting to understand the archangels and their individual specialisms, which will help you to connect more deeply with them. So I absolutely, yes, agree, and feel that's important for people to understand. We are not people who are more deserving or more capable of receiving or receiving angelic guidance and messages more than other people. It's about opening up those channels, which happen in lots of different ways. The angels help you to trust. The angels help you to be open to receiving their love. The angels help you to get over that ego part of yourself. And another thing I say to people about angelic connection is the important question is not to ask yourself, is that Archangel Zadkiel? Or is that my guardian angel? Or is that Archangel Michael? It's, is this message helpful? Is this message providing me, whether it be an oracle card that somebody's using or a sign, is this helping me to move forwards? That's the way that you begin that connection with the angels, not by questioning, but by asking yourself, does this guidance empower me? Does this sign, is this sign offering me clarity? Is this helpful? Is this is this accurate? Does this resonate? Because the angels will empower you. They'll empower you to, the whole point of them, from my point of view, is helping you to become a more expanded being here on Earth. And they do that in lots of different ways through developing a relationship. I'm really touched by that story that Leesa shared because, we're all human beings. We all have experiences which mean it's necessary and beneficial for us to open up to other people. It doesn't make you a weak person to ask for somebody else's help. And sometimes you need somebody else's help because their perspective, whether it be through, their connection with the angels or a very good friend that you have or any kind of professional, can help you to see or identify with a part of yourself which is hidden, which you cannot be aware of. Asking for help is powerful. It's empowering. Do you agree? Do you know what I mean by that, Anayah? That I'm asking for help, so I must be weak. I'm asking for help, so I can't do it all myself. When I was a kid, my thing was me do it myself. And I'm very touched by that, Leesa, because, to share that it's necessary for all of us in order to improve our lives to ask for help outside of ourselves. We can't do everything ourselves. And that makes you a stronger person. That doesn't make you somebody who is weak or not able to cope. It is empowering. I'm very inspired, and I feel that it's a great message to give people here on this show. I really do. I think that's fab.
Absolutely. Now, speaking about inspiring messages and programs and people, I've come across this other radio show on Blog Talk Radio, and I've been putting them up on our Facebook wall, United Intentions Radio. So it's blogtalkradio.com/United Intentions Radio. What a great station it is. Brilliant topics, fabulous guests. And it was so exciting because I listened to them, I Bluetooth them, and I listen to them when I'm driving a lot. And the host is Tim Ray, and very, very, I just love it. And so I said the other day, I would love to be a guest on that radio show. Universe, please arrange it. 2 days ago, the invitation was in my letterbox, in my email. Yes, and so I'm a guest on the 3rd in the USA and the 4th in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK.
What, of February of this month?
Yeah, yes, a couple of days' time.
That's fantastic. I'd love to hear you being a guest. Fab.
And I'm going to tell you more about you guys. It's wonderful, and it's so exciting to share what inspires me. And I know you two are exactly the same. So I guess I just want to say to people, whatever inspires you, share it. Just share it from your heart, not how many likes you'll get, or will anybody like it, or will anybody think, you're an idiot, or whatever. If something inspires you, and I don't necessarily mean, those high heels inspire me. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going down that road. What I'm saying is that opens your heart and brings you a feeling of contentment or peace or happiness or joy, or just makes you feel just that little bit taller, because you just get that beautiful hit of energy from it. Share it with people. Let people know. It's a gorgeous, benevolent, loving, gracious thing to do, and it will help people in ways that you'll never even know about. You know how sometimes on Facebook you'll see posts where people are culling their Facebook friends who they haven't connected with for a really long time? I saw that a few years ago, and I thought, that's a good idea. I've got so many people on my friends list. I don't know who any of these people are half the time. And I thought maybe I should do that. And lo and behold, I got an email, a private message saying, Anayah, we've never communicated before, but I just want you to know that I've been going through a very hard time and your posts really inspire me and they've really helped me to get through. And I just want to say thank you. How's that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
People will often be inspired by you in a way that you don't realise. Don't stop doing it or change anything just because you don't maybe get an acknowledgement in a public or an obvious way. Do what feels good because it feels good. But that's what we love. That's why we love doing what we do, isn't it? Because we enjoy it. We love it.
Exactly.
And if you want to join us in that good feeling, then that is awesome. But we're doing it because we love it. And I think it's true though, isn't it? I think that's where it's our pleasure. You know, it really is. It's not, I'm doing this because it's my work. It's we love it. It's our life, isn't it?
It is, and I want to point out to everyone that Ros has a terrific course on Udemy. You will find Ros Place on Udemy. Go and check out her Guardian Angel. Are they called courses? What are they called?
Yeah, they are called courses. I love Udemy. I think both of you
I'm
ladies
definitely going to do. Yeah, I'm
check
definitely
it out
going to.
And get some sharing up there for people, because you both have so many exciting things, and I think you'll love the way that you can communicate with people on Udemy. You can share really amazing content, really high quality information which teaches people and which Udemy support. They've got very high quality standards, and you can interact. I love the fact that you can chat. You know, thank you for saying that. I'm doing lots of recording at the moment to get my courses up there. I love it. I really love 8 million students. 8 million students, you know.
It's a lot of opportunity to connect, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, thank you. I really like Udemy. I think they're a great environment, you know, for lots of things.
Now, I also want to make sure that people know that you can visit Leesa Ellis, LEESAELLIS.com. And Leesa, just in the next couple of minutes, I know you've got a couple of projects coming up. Would you like to just give people a bit of a nutshell overview of what you've got coming up and how people might like to be involved?
Oh, indeed. Yes, well, I have a little project I'm launching in the next week, which is will really resonate with, particularly with spiritual people who appreciate art and beauty, which is, I think, something that a lot of spiritual people resonate with. A lot of people, everyone, surely we all love art and beauty. And that is a little project I'm putting together to bring together some spiritual arts and crafts. And that's coming up in the next week. You can email me at hello@leesaellis.com, LEESAELLIS.com, if you're curious, if you'd like to be part of the launch. And beyond that, I have a project which is just beginning to take form. It'll be available at the beginning of March, and that is for those who love card readings and divination, a special project that's coming up in March.
Cool.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. So this is episode 5 now, so make sure you stay in touch with Leesa, everyone. You can find her on Facebook, of course, LeesaEllis.com. So this is episode 5. The next episode is going to be Archangel Raziel, which is going to be, like, they're all fabulous. I mean, I say them at every single show. But
they're all our favourites, all of them.
They're all our favourites.
So much. We just love them. So I don't know whether you girls are thinking about putting up the episodes on your website, but I've put them up on angellight777.com. Go to the Angel Heart Radio tab, and just click on the button for anyone you want to listen to, so you don't have to scroll through Blog Talk Radio trying to find a particular Archangel episode. So angellight777.com, you will find those links there for you any time.
Great.
I'd be more than happy to add them to my blog.
Yeah, it's a great idea, because it means that, you know, people listening to us think, oh, look, I would have loved the Archangel Michael episode, for example. You know, it's just a very easy way for them to connect with it. And we're getting brilliant response to this series, everyone. You know, I was just telling the girls last week when we were actually due to have this program. I had issues with Skype. Leesa had internet issues, so we couldn't go ahead. But the amount of people who have tried to listen to that link, so many people. So we know by your response that the show is really giving you tools, it's giving you opportunities and information that you're really enjoying. And I just want to say a quick shout out to a couple of our people who have connected to us through Facebook, facebook.com/Angel Heart Radio. We have Kimberly R, Carolyn M, Logan S, Evelyn R, and there's a lovely lady there, Helen H. You know who you are. You've been listening to quite a lot of Angel Heart Radio programs. And Jennifer A, who manages to give such a lot of great little comments. Anyone stand out for either of you that you'd like to mention for your own pages, or, you know, someone you connect with on Facebook and you appreciate?
I'd
Leesa?
like to say hello to Diana in Miami. She is she's an amazing lady, very passionate about the angels, and she follows my Facebook page. So I'd just like to send a hello to Diana.
Lovely.
How about you, Ros?
Well, I'd like to thank all the brave people who commented in the last couple of days on my Facebook post, which was about coming out of the spiritual closet, which was like, are you still kind of spiritually secret, or are you out and proud? And, you know, people were taking big steps to post comments on that post. So just want to thank everybody for their interaction. I know you ladies all feel the same. We really love everybody's involvement. It's just adds so much fun to what we do, and it's such an amazing part of our work that we can connect with people, chat with people, consider people our friends, you know, that the angels bring into our lives. So, yeah, I'd like to say thank you for all of that.
Brilliant, thank you. And it does make a difference. It's you know, connecting with these people. I just had a message from Logan S. Tonight in a private message on the Angel Heart Radio page, and it was brilliant. And he was just basically saying that he'd seen one of my videos on YouTube, and you know, he loves the angels. He's deeply connected, but he really enjoyed the little video that I'd made, and it was a lovely feeling to know that this person had taken the time to drop me a line simply to say thank you, simply to say hello, and simply to share his experience of, you know, how he felt watching that video. And for me, it's a brilliant opportunity to make these little connections. It's not so we get anything from each other. It's so we can just give that little, oh, thank you. I really appreciate you contacting me today. Thanks for spending the time. Thanks for making the comment about coming out of your spiritual closet. Thanks, Deanna, for, you know, following me on Facebook and interacting with me. It's a way of, it's community, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it does encourage us, doesn't it? Because we're human beings, and there are comments that people make that go straight into my heart, and they're like a bank. They build me up so that when I'm sitting in front of a screen recording a course or considering something that I might do, that I just need that little bit of extra, people actually are interested in this, this is helpful to people. It encourages me, so it touches me. I think people think if you're somebody who is on the radio, or if you're somebody who's got a website, or if you're somebody who's got a Facebook page, then those things don't matter, or they don't count, or they're not impactful. Oh, they are massively to me. So, and I know they are to you too. You know, thank you so much. It's just such a wonderful energy and positive contribution. Going back to what we were saying with Zadkiel, you know, it is a positive contribution that they make. Very.
Absolutely. Now, Leesa and I will be on the radio on Friday evening sometime in the USA, Canada, etc., which will be Saturday morning for me in Brisbane, Australia, and Saturday afternoon for Leesa in New Zealand with our program, The Angel Life Hour. And we're getting really inspired by how much people are getting from this program as well. And this week we're going to be talking about what's the difference between angel and earth angel. So that's going to be a real, everyone. Please do tune into that, angelheartradio.com. You'll find all the links for all the shows, all the time. It's time for us to go. Been another beautiful, beautiful time with you both. Thank you so much, Ros.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank
Get
you.
your foot off the hose, everybody. Get that foot off the hose. Lovely being with you. Thank you, ladies.
You
and thank
too.
you, everybody.
Have a
for
great day,
listening.
Ros.
And
Love,
you.
thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
It's just amazing.
Bye, Leesa.
Love, Ros. And I love you too, Leesa. Thank you so much. Another great show.
Thank you.
Anything you'd like to say in the next 20 seconds?
We'll see you on Saturday.
They're perfect. See you on Saturday. Thanks so much, Leesa.
Okay,
okay,
bye.
everyone. Thank you. Bye, Leesa. Thanks, everyone. Just want to leave you with this parting comment that you matter in the world. You, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, you matter in the world. You make a difference. And please remember that nobody can do what you can do in the way that you've come to do it. You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended